Welcome to our next falls prevention video. This is our third and final level of the falls prevention series, and the exercise we're going to do today will be the next level up. So it'll be suitable if you've completed sort of 8 to 10 weeks of the level 2 and you feel comfortable with doing the exercises without the use of the chair support. So some of the exercises we've probably done already over the last 2 levels, but we're going to progress without having to rely on the chair for support. We always recommend that you have a chair nearby and have actually one there beside you, so if you do need to use that to get your balance back if you have to lose it, you can use that for support, but we're not going to rely on to holding on to the chair to do the exercises. During the level 2 we also touched upon the backward chaining, so I went through the method we use for getting down to the floor and up on the floor. So we'll do that again later in the video, and we'll also do sort of 2 to 3 floor based exercises. So part of our resistance training on this session will be some exercises that are on the floor once we've got down on the backward chaining method. Level 3 is also suitable for anyone that just basically wants to keep their core stability, their postural stability. So anyone that doesn't want to fear falling, so you might be quite well balanced, but you want to maintain that balance so you feel that you can exercise, and when you're going out into public, you're not worried about falling over at all. So to begin with, we'll just do our posture check, which will be the same as we did for our level 2 because we're in a standing position. So let's make sure we get our feet about hip width apart, and out nice and tall. And we're going to roll our shoulders down, and let's make sure our hip is in the centre. So we don't need hips back or hips forward. Hips just aligned in the middle, and then we're always looking forward at the start. So to begin with, we'll start with our circulation exercises. So we start with our marches, but obviously we'll begin without having to use the support of the chair. So to start with, we're just going to use our arms. And when you're doing this at home, you want to be building up sort of 2 to 3 minutes at least of this, just to get the circulation, the blood pumping around the body. So it's nice and controlled movements with the arms. Try and keep the elbows as close to your ribs as you are. So you don't want the elbows out to the sides, elbows nice and close to the body. Hands nice and relaxed as well, so you don't want any clenched fists at all. Then we'll just start with our legs. So it's a gentle march on the spot. So the heel lifts off the floor first and the toe touches down first. That's the movement we're doing. So we're not looking to be flat-footed, so we don't want to be stamping the floor at all. That's good. And then go on to both. So arms and legs, feet, everything moving at the same time. It's nice and gentle. Let's just say our start of our warm-up. As you progress, you want to add some slightly bigger arm movements you can. Doesn't necessarily need to be faster, just a bigger range of movements. And same with the legs as well, so you look at getting your knees up towards hip heights. Good, and when you've completed sort of at least 2 to 3 minutes, just bring it down. So our mobility exercises, the first one we do our shoulder raises. So we're going to do 5 shoulder raises. Lift my shoulders up and relax down. Nice and gently up and down. And to progress, we can do a couple more just slightly bigger movements, so shoulders a little bit higher and down. A little bit higher and down. Fantastic, and relax there. And then next we'll do our shoulder rolls. So again, 5 of those, so shoulders up and then we roll them back. And if you can, we'll look at a bigger movement, so shoulders a little bit higher. It'll only be a little bit. It's not a huge range of movement at the top of the shoulders. So that's our shoulder rolls. And next we'll do our side bends. So again, we've done this previously, but we're not going to use the assistance of the chair. So facing forward, hands by your sides. Without leaning forwards, we try to lean to the sides, slowly down one side, back to the middle, and down the other side. Again, 3 to 5 each side. So make sure you're always looking forwards. So, and keep the head in line with the shoulders and the arms, so your head doesn't tilt forwards. Let's do one more each side. Fantastic. Then we're going to go onto our trunk twist to get some mobility in the core and the spine. Now, previous session we sort of went across the top of the chair. Well, this time we can do that if you want to, but if not, we have our arms folded. And then try and keep the hips as forward as we can. Just turn our waist and our head to one side. Into the other side. Good. So 5 each side as well, or 3 to 5. Good, back to the middle, and then we'll do our hip circles next. So without the assistance of the chair, you can actually place your hands just on your hips. We'll just do 3 to 5 circles each direction. Nice, slow and controlled. Do about 5 one way, and then we'll do 5 the other way. Nice and soft on your ankles, just so your feet can move about a bit as the pressure on your hips lean on your different ankles. And then loosen our ankles up. So we're going to pretend there's a button on the floor, 1 foot at a time. We're going to touch our toe onto the button and then our heel onto the same spot on the floor. We'll just do 5 on each leg. Here we'll do the same on the other. Good, and then back to our starting position. These are our dynamic endurance exercises, which are going to focus on getting our heart rate up and working our lungs a little bit harder. So the first one, we're going to do our toe taps. So to begin with, feet hip width apart. So we're going to start nice and tall. You probably look at the floor just for your first couple of repetitions to see what movement we're doing with our feet. Basically touch one toe forwards and just to the side. So it's down to the floor and back. Repeat on the other side. So make sure the foot returns to the start position before you then move the other foot, just to say it will help with your balance. So you want to build up to at least 10 of these. And the more times you do level 3, the more you can do and the longer you can do it for. And to progress from that, we had a bicep curl just with our arms. So we're just bending at the elbows. Keeping the elbows close to our sides, make sure the elbows don't lift up. Good. And then we'll go just into a gentle march. Okay, you want to be doing this for about 30 to 60 seconds in between the exercises. I'm just going to do 10 seconds. Bigger movements with the elbows and the arms. Good, just relax down to your normal march. Then around 10 seconds, our knees higher. Good, and then back to the start position. So this section we want to keep moving as much as we can. So then we go on to our double side step this week. So this is going to help with exercises or activities, should we say, as sort of you've got to step around somebody in a supermarket, maneuver a pedestrian in the street like that. So starting with our feet hip width apart, sorry. Then we just do 1 step across, and a second. So you're actually working on 2 steps to each side. Good, and if you can, to progress, you can add a little knee bend in between each one, just help strengthen the legs a little bit. So, but it's not essential. Good, one more this way. And then you can come back to the middle, and then we'll just go into our march again. So just a standard march to begin with. Again, so you've got about another 30 to 60 seconds of this. About 10 seconds, just bigger arm movements. So bring the hands further forwards, elbows further back. Good, and just back to the standard march. Good, and then 10 seconds, knees higher. So you can get them up to as high as your hips. Good, back to your standard march. Good, and then we go into our wide base sway. So this is to practice, we're going to sort of take a little knee bend across. Same as the other side. So the back leg, the heel lifts off the floor, so you're actually onto your toe on the back leg. Just into a bend, both feet flat at this stage. Up on the back foot, the heel off the floor, same on the other. Good, and then we can add our arms into the movement. So take a little dip, bring our arms up, dip, bring them to the other side. Again, looking about 10 on each side. Good, and when you've done that, you can rest back into the middle. Now we have our dynamic balance section. So these are going to be exercises that will test and improve our balance. So the first one we're going to do is something called a tandem stance. So I'm going to teach this side on, which will give you a better view of what to do. Essentially what we're doing, we're actually going to line up our toe and our heel together in a straight line. And then so you're trying to shift your weight on your back foot, onto the front half of the foot, and the front foot, the back half of the foot. So the weight is more in the middle of the body. So this is one where I would have a chair either side or one side, and we will be facing forwards. And you're just looking to hold that for around 10 seconds initially. It is testing. As you can tell, I'm sort of wobbling a little bit. And then you can relax. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Make sure the back's up nice and tall. If your hands out a bit will help with your balance. Good, and then relax there. Just small steps back to the middle. So that is the tandem stance. So that will really test your balance, and that's what we're trying to do now. We've progressed to level 3. The next one is a tandem walk. So we take the same stance, but we take a few steps walking, basically the heel onto the toe, heel onto the toe, or just in front of it. So I'll demonstrate this way first. So looking up nice and straight, looking forwards. Touch the heel in front of the toe. Good, yeah, so a few steps. Just turn around safely. I'll do the same the other way. Good, again, turn the other way. Nice and steady turn. Let's do one more this way. Good. just get your feet in the right position before you start turning. So next one we're going to do is heel walking. So we're going to take a few steps just walking on our heels so our toes are off the floor. So again, this is going to help if you're having to step over an object. You might have to place your heel down on the floor first. Just getting up nice and tall. Good, and place your feet flat on the floor before you try and turn. Get to this position you need to go again. So feet flat on the floor. Again, for that exercise, make sure you've got a chair or something you can walk alongside. If you do feel off balance, you've got something to hold on to if you need to, but we're not going to try and hold on to those objects unless we need to, but have them there for the safety and the support. I've now placed a couple of objects down on the floor, and we're going to do a figure of 8 walk around those objects, okay? So it's walking normally, but obviously we've got the turning involved. I'm trying to focus is, so once you know where the objects are, is not to look down on the floor too much. You will need to a little bit though. So it's at the end we're turning, it's making sure we take small steps, ensuring we're keeping our balance at that point. Fantastic. There we are, back to the start. So I'm just going to place the objects on top of each other because the next exercise we're going to do for the dynamic balance is how we're going to step over an object. So again, that's really going to improve your balance. So we start around 6 inches away from the object. So keep it up nice and tall. And it's a step over, heel down first, get the weight onto that foot and bring the other foot over. Get safely turning on the spot. Do it on the, make sure you practice on both legs as well. Good, safely turn. Okay, I'll do it again. So I'm going to bring my right forward first. Safely turn around on the spot, and then my left forward first. And there we go. So we've got the first part of our resistance training section now. So these will be exercises in our body weight or the resistance band to strengthen the main muscle groups in the body. And then we'll do a few more later. As I mentioned before, when we do the backward chaining, we'll do 2 or 3 floor-based strength exercises as well. The first one we're going to do is a knee bend, so focusing on strengthening all the muscles in the legs. This is going to help you getting in and out of a chair. In general, if you've got more strength and stability in your legs, you will feel more balanced, and then so you're reducing your fear of falling and any falls happening. So what we start with is our feet hip-width apart, toes slightly pointing out, and then basically pretending we're sitting back on a chair. So we're going to bend our knees. We're going to make sure the knees don't come forward. Make sure we stick our bottom back, and the knees do not come in front of the toes at any point. Okay. So really, the upper body comes forward. You stick your bottom back and back up. Depending how your mobility is, you can get your bottom down at a 90-degree angle. Essentially down as low as your knees if you can. Don't worry if you can't go down that far, and back up. Again, you can do this holding on or having a back of a chair in front of you, just in case you need that support if you're worried about your balance. Have it there as a guidance if you need it. I'll do a couple sideways on. Making sure you see bottom goes back and up. Okay, that's our knee bends. Then we're going to do our heel raises next. So again, same starting position. And we go up onto our toes and back down. So trying to get most of the weight distributed on your big toe and your second toe. You can hold it for up to 2 seconds at the top. Let's make sure you've got your balance before you then do the next repetition. Again, building up to about 10 of these. And that'll be the same for the knee bends as well. Okay. Then we're going to do some arm strengthening exercises now. So the first one we'll do is our front of our arm. So take hold of one end of the band, drop the other down. You just want to stand both feet on the other end of the band. This can be done seated as well. It doesn't really make no difference if you're standing. It'll just help you balance a little bit. But in terms of the areas, the muscles that we're trying to strengthen, seated or standing will be the same effect. So for the front of the arm, we take the band so it goes through the end of our little finger and up through the end where your thumb is. Start up nice and tall. The band needs to be under tension at all times. So you can bring your hand down straight, make sure it's under a bit of tension. And then all we're going to do is bend that elbow and straighten that arm. Make sure the elbow doesn't lift up, stays by your sides. So you want to build up to 8 to 10 on each arm. If you haven't got a resistance band, you can do this with a bag of sugar or a can of beans, something like that. Good, we'll do the same on the other arm. So just relax your feet off. Bend down. Good, that's secure. Same on the left arm. So then we're keeping that elbow close by your sides. And all you're doing is bending and straightening that arm. Okay, so that's the front of the arm. Then we're going to work the back of the arm. As I've got on the left side, I'll do my left arm first. What we're going to do is change the hand grip so the band enters through the thumb and the tail end goes through where your little finger is. Bring your arm down so you've got some tension in the band already, nice and tall. Then what we're going to do is just bring our arm back behind us and back down. Not feeling enough tension, bring your hand lower so you've got a bit more tension at the start. This will help with exercises such as getting out of a chair or out of a car when you're having to use your arms, so strengthen the back of the arms. Good, and do the same on the other side. Get the band in a nice bit of tension, up nice and tall. Make sure your feet hip width apart. Bring that arm back. Let's do a couple more. Brilliant. When you've done that, lift your feet off the band, bring the band off the floor. We're going to do our backward chaining now. So we're going to stand 2 to 3 feet away from the chair. And with your strongest leg, you're going to stride forwards. Grab hold of the chair with both hands. Bring back leg back slightly and bend the back knee so it rests on the floor. And just release the toe on the back foot and bring the other leg back. Good, and then bring your hands down. Shuffle back. Now when we're at this point, we're going to do our wrist bone loading exercise. So you're going to have your shoulders directly above your hands. And then you just tilt forwards onto your wrists. So we're looking at strengthening the wrists. So lean forwards. And then tilt back. And we're looking to do at least 5 of those. Try and keep the back nice and rigid. Good, and then we take our side lying position. So just bring the back hand in, down, and we're just going to go down onto our forearm and back like so. So we're then going to go to the lying down position. Should we just bring our arm forward, down, one leg on top of the other, like so. So next one we're going to do our outer thigh strength. So bend the knees in. I'm just going to lift one leg off the floor. So top leg does the work. Good. So we've done one side. Then we need to come up onto our front. So to do that, just bring the furthest arm away, roll onto your front. And then we're going to do a back raises for our lower back. So you can just watch this one. And then copy as well. Down. So your hands stay against your chin. It's just a small movement off the floor. And the progression would be to have your arms out in front, which you can do under the chair. Good. Back to the start. So with our outer thigh strengthener, we need to do it on the other side. So I'll do it laying down now onto the other side, but I won't do any instructions because you'll have to see the back with me, okay? Good, and then we're going to get back up into the standing position. So to do that, we need to go onto our side again. Bring the arms round. Have one knee on top of the other. Bring the knee in, and then just bringing your arms back to get up onto your forearms. And then we're going to get up onto our hands, and then just roll onto all fours. Come towards the chair. Hands upon the chair, and then we're going to bring the strongest leg forward. So make sure that toe's released on the leg that's staying back. Like there. Make sure that foot is nice and flat on the floor. Just going to drive ourselves up. Hands onto your knees. Walk your hands up to your knees. And we're back to the start. To start our cool down, we're going to start with our marches. So we'll start with our arms and legs moving together, and then we can reduce the movement because we're obviously bringing our heart rate down now. So again, sort of 1 to 2 minutes, maybe up to 3 minutes of this. If you felt you've got your heart rate quite high, then obviously do the cool down for a bit longer to bring it down more gradually. Good, and then we can go just the legs moving. Just remember to lift the heel off the floor first and the toe to touch the floor first on the way back down. Good, and then we'll just go onto our arms. Good. And next we'll do our flexibility stretches just to strengthen our muscles back out to the normal length. So we'll do upper back first, mid back, we'll just stretch our arms out in front. Good, and relax down. Then we'll stretch up. Relax down, then our shoulders next. Just bring one arm across, support with the other arm. So make sure we keep a nice straight posture of our back. Good, relax down, same on the other. Good, and relax down. I'm going to do the front of the upper body, which I'll teach side on. Hands flat on your lower back, and squeeze your elbows back. Or as an alternative, you can just pull your arms back behind. Good, and relax down. Then we're going to go on to our leg stretches. So we're going to do our calf stretch first. So we're going one leg back, straight leg is the back leg, and just pushing the heel down into the floor. Again, you can lean onto the back of a chair or anything, worktop for support if you need to. Good, same on the other leg. Good, and relax. And then we're going to do tops of backs of our legs, our hamstrings. So your feet hip width apart, keeping the legs nice and straight. Or the front leg straight, we'll have out slight in front, the back leg slightly bent. And stretch, roll your hands down to your toes, towards your feet. Slowly back up, and same on the other. Good, and then we'll need the support for the chair for the next one. Just turn that round. I'm going to do the front of the thigh. So let's bend one leg back. Good, and same on the other leg. Again, holding all these stretches for roughly about 10 seconds. Good, and relax down from there. And we're going to finish with a couple of our Tai Chi exercises. So for that, bring one foot, slight stride in front, making sure that foot is flat on the floor. And with our arms, we're going to lean forwards as our arms go straight. Then lean back, rotate back and bend your elbows back. And again, nice slow movements. Do 5 on each leg. Good, bring that leg back, and same on the other. Good, and bring the leg back. Then we'll do our waving the hands like clouds. So you bring one hand up in front of you, cross, relax the hand down, and bring the other hand up as your face comes back to the middle. And back to the start. And that completes our falls prevention level 3 video.